everyone. I'd like to thank everyone for joining us this evening for our Board of Education special meeting and budget hearing this Thursday, May 9th at 6:30 p.m. May I ask everyone to please rise for the pledge? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is there a way we can have the camera face our audience so that the community at home can see our lovely guests? Just want the community to know that their community is hard at work for them while they're here. They are taking the charge. Our lovely two guests are holding down the fort for our 60,000 families. We thank you immensely for being here.
Thank you. Yes.
Okay, so we are suspending the order of business today. Be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby suspends the order of business for this meeting and this meeting only according to policy 2350. I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Brandon Garcia. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Cindy Safari. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstentions? So moved. D1A, appointments, resignations, and leaves. Certificated personnel. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education hereby approves the certificated personnel action report contained in the board packet for the May 9th, 2024 board meeting. I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Cindy Safari. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Maria Malave. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Noes? Abstentions? So moved. D1B, appointments, terminations, resignations, and leaves, non-certificated personnel. Be it resolved that upon the recommendation of the Superintendent of Schools, the Board of Education hereby approves the non-certificated personnel action report contained in the board packet for the May 9th, 2024 board meeting. I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Julia Burgos. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Brandon Garcia. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Noes? Abstentions? So moved. D1C, be it resolved that the Board of Education hereby rejects petitions submitted to the Office of the District Clerk on or about April 22nd, 2024, to place propositions on the ballot, since petitions for such propositions are not in compliance with the applicable provisions of New York State education law and/or board policy, including but not limited to Section 2035 and Section 1703 of New York State education law and board policy 1050. I need a motion.
Motion.
Motion by Brandon Garcia. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Julia Burgos. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Noes? Abstentions? So moved. And we are going to continue with our budget hearing. Wanda?
Inside. Good evening, everyone.
Put your mic on.
Oh, that's it. Oh, good. So good evening, everyone. Tonight we have the pleasure to witness here our one and only Assistant Superintendent of Finance and Operations, Stacey O'Connor. She will be presenting the final budget hearing right now. So Stacey, floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, everybody who's here. A few people have trickled in since we showed the audience. And to those who are viewing from home, as you know, we have every year, we're required to do a formal budget hearing. It's after the budget is already adopted. It's just a summary of what we talked about at all of our meetings leading up to this. So let me just share my screen. No? Oh, I closed it. I'm good, I got it. I just didn't realize hitting the other button would close the PowerPoint. Okay. We're good? Okay, sorry about that. So today is May 9th, our formal budget hearing. So we'll start off with a summary of the budget. So our total budget that we're proposing in May is $603 million to 74,281. That is an increase of the current year's budget, which is $561 million. That's an increase of just over $42 million, or 7.5%. We're going to talk a little bit about the tax levy because we're proposing an increase of 2.5%. So there are two sides of the budget, as we talk about throughout our meetings. We have a revenue side of the budget and an expenditure side of the budget. So we'll start talking a little bit about the revenues. And when I presented revenues at the last meeting, it was early April. We didn't have the final state numbers yet. They did come in now, so I can update what I talked about at the last meeting. So we get revenues from many sources to support our general fund budget. Our largest by far share of revenue that supports the budget is state aid. That's at 78.4% of our budget. Next would come our tax levy, which we'll talk about, and combine that with our STAR revenue, school tax relief that comes from the state. That's 19% of our budget, and then we have some other miscellaneous revenues, pilots, interest earned on investments, Medicaid and such like that, applied fund balance, and that's about 2.6% of our budget. So if we talk about the state budget, as I said, they came to an agreement. They were a little bit late, but we did get our numbers. The overall increase to education is $1.3 billion. In Brentwood, we're seeing $19 million increase for the following year. The vast majority of that, or really all of that, is coming through foundation aid. Over the past few years, the governor made it a priority to really fully follow the foundation aid formula, and she phased that in over 3 years, this year, 23-24, being the final year of that phase-in. So now we're at the full formula, and moving to the next year, she broke away from the formula a little bit, so it's not quite the full funding formula for next year. What she did was she looked at the inflation factor. The full formula says that you look at the prior year's inflation, and that's how you should increase the foundation aid to all school districts. Inflation for the previous year was at 4.1%. When the governor's budget came out in January, she looked at the past 10 years and averaged the inflation factor. She took out the high and low year, and that came to an inflation factor of 2.4%. What they did in the final budget, I don't know how they came to the number, probably just through negotiations. It ended up at a 2.8% inflation factor. So it came up a little bit, still not fully funded at the 4.1%, but it's at 2.8. There was really no change in anything else, any significant change. Over the years, we've heard they want to freeze expense-based aids. That's our BOCES aid, which the aid is dependent on how much we spend, transportation, it's dependent on how much we spend. So there's been a lot of talk of that in previous years about freezing those aids, but that didn't happen, so it's just continuing as is. Here's our state revenue budget in detail, so you could see the foundation aid is up almost $21 million. High cost, excess cost aid, that's aid on some of our special education services. That's really a timing issue. So we have to, that's based on our expenditures as well. So we're not quite done with the year, so we don't have all of our expenses in there yet. So that typically changes as we go along. I really don't think it's gonna end up being, such a big negative. It should be around the same. And then if we move down a little bit to building aid, the last one, you see that's going down $2 million. That was expected, and I have that in a little bit of detail on the next slide. So building aid is to some degree related to debt service. Debt service is, I try to compare that to a mortgage on a house. You buy your house, you borrow money, and you pay that off. Debt service, we borrow money to do construction throughout the district, and we pay that off, year after year. Usually, renovation goes for 15 years. So we paid off some of our debt service, so our building aid is also going down. So our debt service payment went down $2 million, and our building aid went down $2 million. So really, it's a wash. It's not like we're losing any money. It's just a timing thing. If we look forward to the future for next year, 24-25, we're going to pay off 2 other borrowings next year. So if we go to the 25-26 budget, you're going to see that go down again. The construction projects that we're doing now, we haven't filed final cost reports yet with the state, so we're not seeing any aid on that yet. And that's how the formula works. That's, to be expected. But eventually, you'll see the building aid start going up, and because we're not borrowing on this construction that we're doing, it's kind of like buying a house for cash, you don't have any payments on it. Even though we're doing that with our money now and these transfer to capitals that we've been doing, we won't have any payments. But we are going to start getting building aid. So you're going to see the building aids numbers start going up, yet not the debt service payments. So moving to the future, that's going to be a positive for us. State aid is a percent of the budget I had mentioned on a previous slide. It's 78.4% projected for the 24-25 school year. You can really see the 3 years that the state started fully phasing in the foundation aid formula, how much that percentage increased. We were, in 2021, we were near 63%, and then it jumped up in the next year to almost 69%, then to 73%, and now we're kind of flat at 78%. So that really did help us in supporting our budget, and we've been very mindful of that with the community. So because we got that aid, we look at the tax levy increase, and if we look on this chart, the bottom part of the bar, the blue part, is how much we actually raised the tax levy. The green part is what we could have raised the levy without going over the tax cap. So in 1920, you could see we raised it just over 1%, but we could have gone to just over 4%. So that 3% that we didn't levy, or probably $3.5 million, we didn't collect from the community. We made sure we were fiscally responsible to the community. And you could see that we've done that every year, even in the past 3 years, 21-22 to 23-24. We could have raised the levy, near 4%. We didn't raise it at all. It's been frozen for years. So now that our foundation aid isn't going up as much as it used to, as much as it has in the past 3 years, we're still not going to our full levy, but we are going to start increasing that levy again. Just because I know these numbers seem very big, but our budget is also very big. So just to support all of the great programs that we have going on, it is necessary to start raising that levy again. And you've heard about all the great programs, and we're going to talk about that in a few slides. This is just another way to present what I was just talking about. It's in numbers now rather than percent. So the darker blue is what we actually levied. The lighter blue is what we could have levied. So you could see the difference there, and that difference compounds. So the first year we were about 2.5 million, 1920 on this chart, we were about 2.5 million less than what we could have levied. 2021 we were, about 500,000 less. So if you add that, that's 2 million that the community saved. So it compounds every year. It's not just what we saved or what we didn't levy for that 1 year. So then we talk about the tax levy increase and what does that mean to the homeowner, and it's a little hard to say right now. We know that we're going to increase the levy 2.5% or almost 8 million. The allowable increase, what I was showing you on the previous chart, is 4.5 million if you look there, or a savings of 1.7 million to the community. That's money that we could have asked them for, but we're not going to. The increase to the homeowners, your actual tax rate, we're unable to calculate right now. We get information in over the summer, that's the adjusted base proportions, and the assessment information, but that comes from the town over the summer, and we don't have it yet, so we can't, do those calculations at this time on how your school tax is going to be increased. If nothing changes for you, You didn't do any renovations on the house, you didn't apply for any, abatements or something. It could just be that 2.5% increase, but it could also be something a little bit different, not significantly, on your school tax bill. But keep in mind, there are other levies within your whole property tax bill, outside of school tax. The county does a levy, the town, the library, the fire department. So when we say the 2.5% increase, that is just on the school tax portion of your property tax bill. So now we jump over to expenditures. Again, our revenue budget has to equal our expenditure budget, so you'll see the same $603 million number there, the same increase of $42 million, and that's a 7.5% increase on the budget. So where did the budget change? We have, I broke it down into a few key areas. We see our certified salaries, that's our teachers, our administrators, and our TAs are in there as well. They are certified through the state. So there's a couple of things we're doing. We have our federal grants that are ending this year. So there are some staff members who have been charged to those grants that we're moving into the general fund budget to keep, all those programs going. So you see not only the increase in contractual salary, but those additional people that we're moving in as well. We'll look at, and new positions as well, and that we'll go over in a couple of slides. Benefits, when you increase salaries, benefits often go up as well, because some are just calculations off benefits. Not all, off salaries, excuse me, not all, but quite a few. Our BOCES increase is mostly special education, but we've been looking at some of the things we already do in our district that we can run through BOCES, such as a lot of software programs. I know Candace Chang has been very proactive at looking at that. So if we put it through BOCES, we pay a BOCES fee, but then we get aid back on it. And because of our aid ratio, it really makes it worth it to do that. So as BOCES has more software available through their services, we certainly take advantage of that. The contractual area going down a little bit and the interfund transfer going down a little bit, that's mostly because of construction dollars that we've had a lot of construction money in our budget the past few years. As our aid is not going to continue to grow as much as it has, we are lowering that. So our transfer to capital, and I have a separate slide on that, is going down by about $4.5 million. And also our debt service is paid off. That's in the interfund transfer as well. So that accounts for the $6.6 million reduction there. So some of the staffing additions that'll be new to the budget this year are some secondary special area positions, and I know Mr. Gangler, Ms. Palmer earlier in the year, Ms. Young, they all went over this in a lot of detail. I'm kind of summarizing things here. So we're looking at secondary special area teachers, bilingual teachers throughout the district, some PPS staff, that's in the special education area, pupil personnel services. We're going to add behavior specialists at each kindergarten center to help, if we intervene at the younger ages, hopefully, moving forward, we'll correct the behaviors and that won't be necessary in the older grades. Some guidance counselors, reading interventionalists, and we're looking at some key assistant coordinators as well. In the instructional areas, I talked about before, the federal grants are ending in September. So there are some grant adjustments to move not only staff, but club expenditures and other things we have in those federal grants into the general fund. So it may not be new to the district, but it's going to be new to the general fund. What is new, will be new moving forward, is 6th grade instrumental music. So we're starting that up as an after-school program, so that'll introduce our kids to musical instruments earlier than they are now. Our high school program is already fantastic. It's just going to grow even more. We're looking at a math textbook adoption. Of course, our new mascot, so we need logo and uniform replacements throughout the district. We're looking at phasing in desktop computer replacements and continuing our laptop rotation. Some of that was in federal, now it's coming to the general fund. Some of our program highlights, I mean, you've heard this several times in many presentations or venues. Our Graduation Plus initiative is just fantastic for the kids. They can leave high school and actually move right into a career. Cosmetology, we have business concentrations such as marketing. We have health programs, nursing, health aides, where we have an HVAC initiative that is they're really looking for people, I should say, in that profession. So somebody could leave here with those skills and walk right into a high-paying job. We still offer the college courses at no cost to the students, which is tremendous. Remember our valedictorian, what'd she graduate with, like 60 credits last year? Yeah, incredible. So she went into college as a junior. That's just unheard of. We have internships, so kids can try things out. Maybe they like what they do, maybe they don't, but at least they know, and it kind of focuses them on where they want to go in the future. We have our security training classes, so I believe you have to be 18 or above, you can get your security license and, get a job outside of, high school, weekends, nights, being a security guard. And again, these are good jobs, well better than minimum wage. And we still do our college visits, for kids who want to go to college. It's a big decision where you're going to spend the next 4 years. So we take them around, let them see the campuses. I think it's wonderful. Some of our other program highlights, our Seal of Biliteracy is just growing by leaps and bounds. Expanded regions offerings in the middle schools. And we want to challenge our kids. We want to see what they could do because we know that they can do great things. And in order to support that initiative with the regions and other areas in the district, we're adding more faculty for tutoring to help them get through this so they can succeed. Virtual enterprise is where kids basically create their own business and they compete against other schools. That's a wonderful experience as well, and we're offering financial literacy courses and offerings. And that's a skill that really everybody needs, and it's so easy to get into credit card debt and things without even thinking about it. So just letting the kids understand that and what to beware of is wonderful. Some more program highlights. We're going to start with middle school drama clubs. That's actually a picture from our high school play, which was awesome. So if we start this in the middle school, better yet for the kids. By the time they get to the high school, they'll be pros at that, and it's just great now. And math and reading interventions at the elementary level are also some of our highlights. Capital improvements. Oh my goodness, there's just so much to talk about here. And when Mr. Cruz did his presentation, he showed a lot of pictures of what's going on. And this summer might be our busiest summer in my 20 years here, capital-wise, with all of the things that we have planned. So this slide relates strictly to the transfer to capital. So this is the 10 million we have in the budget. That doesn't need a separate vote. If our budget passes, this 10 million passes. And what we're going to do with that 10 million is add lights to the soccer field. That was not in the original plan, so we're looking for permission to do that. Adding air conditioning in the freshman campus cafeteria. We have to upgrade the fire alarm at the high school. And the remaining funds are going to be focused on bathrooms throughout the district. We know that's a big need. We've started doing some on our own. An infusion of money to do that would just really help us get that going even more, even quicker. Some of the other capital projects that we're looking to do this summer, and some have already started, we're going to do several high school science rooms. The picture there is actually a middle school science room we did last summer. So we're doing, I believe, 6 to 7 science rooms in the high school. And I'll be a little unsure about some of these things because we're still getting quotes in. We're still, finalizing what we're going to do. But what I talk about tonight in general, I may not have the exact number, but this is what we're doing, at least at the minimum this summer. So yeah, 6 to 7 science rooms at the high school. That'll include the ceilings, the lighting, the floors, all the cabinetry in the rooms. We're also doing high school in the hallways, some of the ceilings and the lighting. We still have some of those 1x1 tiles that are just, they need to go. So we're looking to replace big hallways. I know in Sonderling we did a lot in Ross last summer. We're going to add air conditioning in the Sonderling gym. The entryways to both high schools, to Ross and Sonderling, before you get in the building, look up. That's all going to be redone. That's the soffits. The Ross boiler is going to be replaced. We're doing locker rooms in Ross, full locker rooms in Ross. Right now, we're doing some minor renovation, not minor renovations, but we're changing some lockers and painting the floor and stuff in the Sonderling locker room, so they're getting some attention as well. The Ross tennis courts are going to be completely gutted. We're going to turn the courts around because we do know that they're facing the wrong way. You shouldn't go east to west. Somebody always has the sun in their eyes. So they'll be turned to go north to south, and we're going to add 2 more tennis courts there, so there'll be a total of 6. We're also putting pickleball lines there because that's an up-and-coming sport. Flooring, I know we're doing the Sonderling main cafeteria floor and some other areas in the high school, and also some audio grade upgrades. I know we're doing the Sonderling gym, and we're looking at some other areas as well if we could work things out for the summer. Of course, at the high school, we're going to do the Ross cafeterias. That's a rendering of it. I believe the serving line, we're going with a green tile that shows gray, but this is, the ceiling will look like that. The tables right now are for show, so we still get to pick our cafeteria tables, but just what an upgrade. So we're doing both front Ross cafeterias this year. Look to do Sonderling next year. Additional projects, the freshman center is going to be closed all summer. This one's really going to be a challenge. It's a nice shot of the outside. We added the lettering. You can see Brentwood High School freshman campus on the left, and we added that electronic board towards the right of the picture. So I think that the building's just looking great. But inside, we're going to look at we're going to redo the library at the freshman campus. We're moving some offices around. We are changing the ceilings on, not when you first walk in, but make a right and a left, and that other one by the custodial room in the cafeteria down there. We're going to do that whole hallway of ceilings. And we're doing work in the locker rooms, and we're looking at some other projects there as well. I just don't have confirmation on the other projects, but that building's really going to look sharp come September. It's really going to be a challenge as well. Additional projects, if we move on to the middle schools, the North Middle School Library, that's a shot of it there, still under construction. At this time, it was still under construction. I believe they're back into the library right now. But just what an upgrade there. Look at the ceilings. That back wall was just a plain wood, you know, the one that's blue and white now. It really looks sharp. So North Middle School Library, we're doing all of the middle school gym floors, so that's one gym floor that's being done right now, North Middle School and West Middle School right now, the other 2 in the summer, because South and East Middle School will be closed in the summer, so we're going to do 3 science rooms in each building, just like we did this past summer at the other 2 middle schools. We're going to upgrade the HVAC in South and East. The cafeterias are going to get done there as well, and the bathrooms near the lobby that they'll get gutted and completely redone as well at those 2 schools. This is the North Middle School auditorium. So this is maybe a week ago, so it's, you know, progressed a little bit further. That should be done in June. That's on schedule to be done in June because we're going to need that building for summer programs. So that's coming along nicely. Some of our elementary schools, I believe that 7 schools are going to get the security vestibules this summer. And we have a chimney replacement at Northeast. We're doing some signs. You can see one that we did at Laurel Park, so we have a couple more coming of that. Oak Park, it's, I believe, the last elementary school to get a gym floor. They've been open every summer. We haven't been able to really get in there. So we're going to do their gym floor and the sink cabinets that are in the classroom, so that's just a little rendering of it. And North Elementary, I know we're doing some windows there, and we have other projects at the elementary level that we're looking at. I just don't have confirmation at this time. Even the administration building will have some work done coming up. It's really hard to schedule this building because there's always somebody here, summer or school year. But we're looking at doing ceilings in the hallways. We already did the west wing. We're going to do the same to the east wing and the second floor. We're going to make some other improvements in the hallways as well. And we're gonna start phasing in our parking lot, because we're gonna redo the whole parking lot, add some parking to go with the soccer field. When that opens, we'll need more parking here. And that we can't do all at once like we did at schools, because there's always somebody here, so that'll come in phases. We have the EV charging stations. I have a picture of that there. That's for an electronic vehicle. You can plug it in. And those are going up in all schools. We have quite a few already there. We're still, I believe, working on the west end of the district. And that was our, in the bottom right is our purchasing office. That carpet, we got our money's worth, let's say that. But it's already been replaced, and it's, we tiled the floor there and painted, so that office came out really nice. Some security improvements Mr. McRae presented on in January. We have additional cameras going up throughout the district. We'll continue that over the summer. We have the vape detectors. Quite a few are in already, but there'll be more going in over the summer. We have our video monitoring center, which we opened maybe a year and a half ago. We're making upgrades to that already because we see the benefit of it. And we now have door alarms on a lot of our doors, and that they'll keep going in. So if it's like an off time, not arrival or dismissal, and a door opens, it'll come up automatically in that video monitoring system, just to monitor what's going on there. So that's a lot of exciting stuff that's going on in the district. One of the things I have to talk to you about in the formal budget hearing is a contingent budget. So what happens if the budget is not approved in a couple of weeks? Well, we have a few choices. The board can propose the same budget and the same levy, keep everything the same for a revote in June. Just like we have a statewide voting date of the third Tuesday in May, the voting date is the third Tuesday in June. The board can propose a revised budget, a revised levy, so things can change or things can stay the same for that revote, or you could choose not to vote at all and just adopt a contingent budget. If the budget fails, if we do go for a revote in June and the budget fails, we have to adopt a contingent budget at that time. So there are a few rules that go along with the contingent budget, and that is that the current year's levy may not be increased. In addition to that, there are certain things that we have to eliminate from the budget. What we have to eliminate is equipment items, except for hardware, and that would be computer hardware, but only up to the state-aided amount, which is about $300,000. So that would not allow us to replace those desktop computers that we had talked about phasing in, the laptop computers. We couldn't do that rotation, so we couldn't buy any of that, just some minor things. And the capital projects, so that $10 million transfer to capital with the soccer lights, the freshman campus AC, we wouldn't be able to move forward with that. In addition, we'd be forced to charge for use of facilities at all times. Now, if it's a weeknight and we already have staff on, you're a community group, we're not charging. But if we go to a contingent budget, we'd be forced to charge. And then there'd be a restriction on purchases of certain school supplies. So the budget vote is Tuesday, May 21st at your local elementary school. Ms. Hoey, the clerk, can help you with where to vote. It's on her website, so you can just go there, punch in your address, and it'll tell you where to go. Thank you. Any questions from the board?
Questions from the board?
For the HVAC mentioned at the middle schools, is that a specific area throughout the building, or? Because I know you mentioned Sondling Gym, but I don't know if it said it's specific for the middle school.
There are certain classrooms where the older univents, those ventilators that are right below the windows, there are certain classrooms picked out. So some were upgraded, over previous years, but the older ones are going to be upgraded. We're also going to do some rooftop units at the middle schools. So to replace any existing, not to add anything. The refrigerant in the existing rooftop units you can no longer use, so we have to change those.
So would people expect that it might be cooler in the buildings come September?
No, it only does heat.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
'Cause I know people are going to ask. Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Just want to say one thing. It's just, we look at these numbers and we see 7.5% increase as a huge increase. This budget is really a reflection of a shared commitment that we have here to ensure the best quality of education of our students. So please go out and vote, because we really need this. We need to maintain the programs that we have for our students and add the ones like the drama club, right, that we just decided that we're going to increase, and also the music program for our sixth graders. The things that are happening here are really, really wonderful, what is happening here right now. Having students graduate with college credits, having students graduate with internships, the Graduation Plus initiative that we have is really going to take Brentwood in it to a different landmark at this point. So I really encourage you to do that, and thank you, Stacy, for putting this together. These are just not numbers; they are students behind this. And I want to thank everyone for being here also. Yes.
Any other questions from the board? No? Okay, so I will ask for a motion to adjourn this evening's meeting at 7:16 PM.
Motion.
Motion by Julia Burgos. I need a second.
Second.
Second by Cindy Safari. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? So moved. Thank you, everyone. Please join us for our May 22nd public session at 8 PM here in the public meeting room. Thank you.